Hey, Jamar. Thanks. Thanks again for coming on, for talking with us. It's really good to hear about you. I can't wait to hear about your story, which is why I didn't ask you too many questions beforehand.
Smart,
It's like,
smart.
yes, right. So the question that I always ask first, if you can tell me your name, your stage name, and if you can tell us a little bit about your artistry.
Yeah. My stage name is Jamar Gilbert. I'm an actor, writer, acting coach, all things acting, really. I fell in love with acting when I was in second grade, and I have been involved with it ever since. It has opened up so many doors in my life, brought me from Mississippi to Chicago to LA. It has introduced me to my wife. It has won me awards, scholarships, opportunities on TV and film. And the older I get, the more I recognize that this journey is still just beginning. But that's my artistry. It's my home base, my reason for being here, I believe.
I love it. I love how you talked about the different places you've been. So where are you from? I heard Mississippi in there, so I definitely got excited.
Yeah, Mississippi. Yeah, I was originally born in West Palm Beach, Florida, but I was in Florida until like second grade, moved to Mississippi around that time and it stayed all throughout high school. But Camden, Mississippi is my hometown. 15,
Okay.
yeah, very small town, but
Hmm.
that's where it all that's where I consider to be like my home base.
You're from Canton, Campton. I'm from more of the southern part, from South Mississippi.
South
Yeah.
Mississippi. Yeah.
So
Like
you know
Southeast.
Lamar and Forest County.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you familiar with Brookhaven, Mississippi?
Of course, we play them in football.
Yeah, so Brookhaven is where I went to Mississippi School of the Arts down there my junior senior year, and that's I love Brookhaven. That's my southern tip, my southern home in Mississippi.
That's awesome. Isn't like Faith Hill from somewhere in that region?
And she is
Close by somewhere. I think
yeah,
it's like Star or something like that. But anyway, we'll
yeah.
figure that out. We'll Google that a little bit later. Excellent. So, when did you start your journey into acting? I know you fell in love or had some inkling in second grade, but when did you actually? So, tell me about that journey.
Yeah, I would say it started in second grade. We had moved from Florida to Mississippi, and they were doing like the second grade play on like the Pledge of Allegiance. And pretty much because I was from Florida and didn't really have much of that Mississippi twang in my voice yet, and like I had like a good speaking voice, as they would say, I got one of the bigger roles that carried the show, and I had never acted before. Nobody in my family had ever done any type of public speaking, so my parents were nervous as all get out. But I stepped on stage and just like something, even at that young age, I feel like this felt different than just like playing pretend, or it felt just like aligned with purpose. I couldn't give it words at that point, but it's just this feeling like this feels like home. This feels like my space. It feels like my calling. Um, and from that point on, I mean, the show went off without a hitch. Like everybody was celebrating and pretty much demanding my parents put me in a performing arts school, and they did. And from elementary school, middle school, high school, I've always been in a performing arts school, studying this craft. And it's the more I study it, the more I fell in love with it, the more I found myself in it, the more I found like this is something that I can do, that it always has a special effect with people. It always opens another door. Yeah, I felt like the craft found me and just been tugging me along through life. Like, come this way, come this way, come this way.
Excellent. So, you went to performance art school in high school, and then what college did you attend?
DePaul University in Chicago. They call it the theater school at DePaul University in Chicago. um, Wonderful program. Chicago is cold as I don't know what for this Mississippi Southern boy, but
Hmm. Hmm.
it gave me some incredible tools and gifts and networking opportunities at that school. So I was there from age myself, 2012 to 2016 at DePaul University in Chicago.
Awesome. When was the first time you stepped foot on the set?
On set, When was the first time? I think my first role, funny enough, was for a TV show called The Exorcist. It was a co-star role, and it's funny because I had never seen The Exorcist because like I love scary movies, but anything that deals with like demons and spiritual realm type of scary, I'm like, thank you.
Right, right, right.
But my
Uh-huh.
first time on set was for a small co-star role on that show, and it was amazing because up until that point, I had just been acting on stage, and like you may have your sets and your lights, but a lot of it is your imagination filling in stuff. But stepping on set, I remember I was playing a role outside of a crime scene, and I'm just like commenting on what happened at that crime scene, like making jokes about it with my friend. And of course, in an audition, I'm just in my mind imagining the tape and the lights and the cops. But you get on set, it's actual house, actual tape, actual cops.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, this is so easy compared to stage. I don't have to use my imagination at all. But
Hmm.
it was so fun. It was a beautiful challenge because it's just a different medium of acting. But
It
I'm
is.
I'm down for it. Like I'm ready for this next venture.
It was so awesome that you was able to get a co-star role first. Like you didn't say you was an extra, you didn't say you was like a PA. Like you literally came on as a
That's cool. Yeah.
co-star.
It's,
Yeah.
it was funny too, 'cause they treat you different. Because when I walked on set, they thought I was an extra,
Right.
like shoving me in this line, like go stand over there, go stand there. Then they realized like I was actually like a speaking character.
Hmm.
And their whole demeanor change. I got moved to a whole different side of set. I got my own trailer. I got food brought to me. I was like, oh, this is nice.
I know it is so different. You ought to hear some of the other interviews. They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm in there now. I'm speaking voice. I can eat.
Yeah, I can eat.
I love it. So, your theater came first, so that was how you really fell into acting. You was able to get onto that stage and perform from second grade. And like, what was it that you decided to stick with it? Was it because you said there is no other place like this for me? Did you try any other genres? Excuse me. Did you try any other occupations beforehand and come back to it? A lot of people have a roller coaster type of journey when it comes to acting.
No, for me, it was always there. Like once I found it just was always a part of my life. Of course, I've always had to work odd jobs and
Yeah.
then like pay the bills, make some money. But acting has been consistently part of the picture. And it always did feel like this is the place where I can I can dominate as well. Like I've tried like going just through the school period. Like I've tried like doing track and doing other little sports and activities. And I might not be the fastest. I might not be the strongest on the field, but we step on stage, like I'm going to be one of the most tapped in individuals for sure. Um, and luckily, yeah, I never had to get to a point where I wasn't acting. That's incredible. Say from 8 to 31 now. Like I've
Yeah.
always been doing it to the point now. It feels like it's as part of my life as the air is a part of my life. Like it's just there.
I love that. What is the biggest challenge that you've had in order to continue your career?
My biggest challenge would have to be remembering why I fell in love with this thing.
Mm.
Because as you get older, you get more responsibility, obligations.
Hmm. Hmm.
You get less of that outside validation from like parents and teachers you get as being a kid or student. So you have to find that validation within yourself. So I think the challenge for me is I've gone on a path where I moved away from at one point the love of acting into like the pursuit of the money it can come from it, or the pursuit of the fame that could come from it, um, or getting frustrated that somebody else is getting more money and more attention from it than I am, or feeling like this industry isn't validating me as much as I feel like I deserve, and all these things are looking outside of myself and outside of my passion for the craft for reasons to stay with it. That that could be a challenge because that lead to you getting jaded, frustrated, jealous, all those negative emotions that shouldn't be crowded around this thing that brings you positivity and light. But as I'm in a season now where I'm recognizing that I do this because I love it, because I feel alive doing it, because I feel like I have something to offer by doing it. And when I tap into that, more things line up versus than me being like, where's my role? Where's my next thing? Like I
Hmm.
deserve this. Like why you get it and I didn't? Like that leads nowhere. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's more of an internal challenge now, I would say.
Okay. You have a very thick IMDb. Like you are what you call a working actor. You are really you are in these streets when it comes to acting.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And so I
I'm gonna
love
still
it.
feel that. Like my IMDb thick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, steal it. Use that one. What?
Yes.
What? You don't know me. We got
You
that
know
thick
me.
IMDb. Yes. Oh my gosh. So technical question here. If you look at, like your IMDb, there's like the name change of Gillen to Jamar. Is there a reason?
Yeah.
Jalen, excuse me.
Yeah. This was happened last year. I wanted a bit of separation between like my personal life and my stage life and my career life. Um, and it felt like at one point it was a little weird to like people that knew me since second grade can call me by the same name that people who just met me yesterday because they saw me on some TV show. And I also started noticing like as the credits get a little bigger, they're on a little bigger platforms, having people just stop you in the street and be like, "Oh, I know you from this." Like it feels weird for them to use the same name, your day ones, but using so like I want a little bit of separation, so I can know where you know me from, how you know me from, and know where it feels when you call my name. So Jalen is like, yeah, family, day ones, people who know me from a certain chapter of my life, and this Jamar, my middle name. Now I'm using it as my stage name. Feels like, okay, you call me Jamar. I know, you know me industry wise, like this career life I'm building, this persona that goes along with the fame that's coming, the bigger roles that have been showing up. I like having that delineation between the two.
Okay.
That's the spark for that.
I get you. Why was that separation like important? Like in a way where you wanted that personal? Like, was there something happening in your personal life at the time that says, "Hey," well, it was literally last year that
Yeah.
said, "I really need this separation." Like now, because you've been in the industry for a minute now, and you have, as you said, that's growing because you have so many.
Yeah.
But like, why now? I know, and the reason why I asked that as a follow up is I know RuPaul talked about it. It was like my name has been, it's not a drag name. It's always been RuPaul. My mom called that. It's like it can be kind of weird going into like the doctor's office and them calling your name
Yeah.
RuPaul. There's only one name like that, you know? So
Yes.
so it worked great for him as a stage name. So he never came up with any type of like a differentiation, right? It was RuPaul, whether he's in the in the doctor's office or on the stage or having an interview, So why was that? It almost sounds like a safety concern as well, but like, why was that so important to have that separation?
I like having my own separate spaces that I'm operating in. And two, like I got a feeling it's like this thing's about to pop. This thing's about to like go off to another level. And I noticed like a lot of my idols I watch, they have their separate names. Like I know Jamie Foxx is actual Jamie Foxx, what his actual name is. I was like Bartholomew or something like that. So, and something about that just felt like peaceful, like having like, oh, so when I step out into the world and I step in on front of the cameras and everything, I know I don't have to bring that back into my space when I'm like alone with my family or in the way that you get to know me
Yeah.
there. I like having that those different roles to step into, almost like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, like having this different persona to step into. Because for me, for personally, Jalen um, can be shy and a little introverted and everything, but I know how to step into a more extroverted, like being who can be talking in front of a crowd full of people like it's nothing. And that feels like a different energy. That feels like a different persona. And I like having, okay, Jalen, you can chill. You can be safe at home. You could be cool with the family, quiet, and hanging out with friends. Then Jamar also feels stronger for me. Like that's who we take out to like go get these roles to talk to these people. It's just for my mind, the way where my mind works, it feels cleaner, safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So now let's talk about this really, really cool play that you have coming up. So we have 3 weekends as part of the UNerasable Solo Fest, and you're performing one of the solo acts. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. So yeah, September 13th and September 26th, I'm performing my show Black and Blue. Um, this is my first show that I've written. Like I said, I've been in this acting for a long time, but always performing somebody else's words and or attaching myself to somebody else's project. And I like to contemplate living a life with no regrets. Like if I'm on my deathbed and I call myself an artist and an actor, um, I want to be able to say like I put my own work out there. I put something out there that is like completely me drawn from scratch, my ideas, my views on the world, what my life has like culminated into. I've taken that and like alchemized it into a story that nobody else has could replicate, nobody else could do. Is uniquely mine. I wanted to put that out there into the world. Or at least I wanted to do it at least once in my career, and Black and Blue is kind of born from that. It's a show that tackles the question, is there a right way to be Black in America and survive? Because coming up from the South, then Bible Belt, conservative South, um, moving to like liberal Chicago, being a Black man in these arts. My wife is an Italian woman. Like so many things in my life around like Black identity, like conflict on a surface level in a way. And it led me to being able to see things from multiple perspectives and those perspectives colliding, and I wanted to make sense of them. So I wrote this show that involves having a four characters: one, a conservative old man, um, two, a young rebel liberal who wants to burn this country down by all means if we don't get the respect we deserve. Three, a Black cop who's in a very conflicting situation. And then the fourth character, a wide-eyed youth, 8-year-old kid. And they're all tackling their perspective, their definition of how to be Black in this country and survive. And all of those perspectives directly clash with each other. And I don't champion one more than the other. I validate each one of their truths to the highest degree. And I let the audience sit with all of it, um, and let them determine and see like what is the right way to be in this country. That's Black and Blue in a somewhat of a long-winded nutshell.
Excellent. How long is it?
The show runs about 55 minutes, so not too long. I give each one their space, and let the audience sit with it. But yeah, I did it for the first time at the Hollywood Fringe Festival back in June, and to some wonderful audiences, sold out crowds, standing ovations, racked up a few awards, some encore performances, and now we get to bring it to the UNerasable Solo Fest down in Inglewood and to see how the audiences love it there.
Okay. Where's the settings of the play?
It's all current day, and we're in different aspects of these characters' world. So my first character, the old man Ruckus, we're out on his porch. Um, our second character, Malik, we catch him on the streets outside of a club in Chicago, where he was just denied entry to the club. Uh, we catch Officer Dennis, a third character, at a grave site, him paying respects to an individual, and we catch young Julian in his bedroom early morning in his bedroom before his parents are up, just playing around with his stuffed toys. So yeah, pop into little snapshots of their life.
Excellent. It's so great to have like screenwriters, young screenwriters. I do believe that like writing, definitely when you are like under 40 and things, definitely have like a certain type of energy to it. Do you think that it's meant for the youth, or do you feel like your perspective in this time is for people who are older for them to reflect on like their behavior? Like, what would you say is your target audience for this?
My target, I think it skews more towards the youth, more towards those other like individuals, especially POCs, especially Black people who may be wrestling with their identity and how they see themselves versus the way the world sees them and how to like reconcile those things. Or or really honestly, any individual that feels like their identity clashes with the stereotypes attached to it, or when they feel like they go against the grain of what people expect for somebody who has their makeup to act. It's like how to reconcile those things, and it's just to show people that truly it sounds simple, but you just have to be you and all of you, and not try to conform or shrink yourself to fit into somebody else's idea of how you should be, which can be hard, especially as a teen, as a young adult, as an individual. Period. I felt like we're all navigating that, but I wanted to skew it towards the younger audience, trying to get them a chance to make sense of this thing as they come into
Okay.
themselves.
Nice. So if you had to describe Jamar, who is he to the world?
Ooh, that's a great question, man. Jamar is Jamar is light. He is a contemplative voice of seeking truth and nuance in complicated subjects. Um, yeah, yeah, that's how I'll put him in. Yeah, but he's first and foremost, he is light. He brings light and great energy into anything he does. Uh, That's all I'll say for now. But he's
Okay.
developing. Always a work in progress.
Technical pieces. What is the genre that Jamar is most comfortable in or wants to challenge himself more in?
mm, I want to challenge myself more in comedy. Honestly, that's what keeps coming to mind. I love diving into like the dark issues, the taboo stuff. But I would love to lean into comedy or even get more opportunities to take on comedy because I feel like that's the hardest genre. Like getting your sense of humor across or making people laugh, like that's harder than to make them cry. I feel like that's not.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. And last question for those who see you, a lot of young people always tend to look up to the older personnel, especially like when you look at the young people in high school and like in elementary. What advice would you give to them at the young age?
Mm, to my youth, I would tell them know thyself. Um, yeah, get to know themselves, get to know what they're passionate about, what they love, what they hate. Remain like fearlessly curious about who they are, more so than about who somebody else is or trying to like follow along with the crowd. Get to know what makes you unique and explore your likes and dislikes and get really curious about who you are. Uh, I would encourage that more so than anything because I feel like a lot of us, at least when I'm looking back on my youth, some of my earlier days, it was so much so trying to find myself out in somebody else, um, or following trends and all of that silly stuff that had me becoming somebody that I knew I wasn't supposed to be, because I wasn't curious about myself. I was always getting more power and validation to other people's opinions and ideas. So I was telling them, get real curious about what they had to say, who they are, what they love, and champion themselves, even if it nobody else understands it, nobody else gets it, like you get it, and love that. That's what I would tell them.